back to the Young CEO podcast. My name is Tatenda Gee, and this is our very second episode. And we're going to give game for lovely young lady who's doing absolutely amazing things in the world of technology, AI, and innovations. She is the CEO of Nyeredzi Global Technologies. Joining us as Yvonne Marambanyika, who is the CEO of Nyeredzi Global Technologies. Yvonne, welcome to our podcast. Welcome to the show that we personally are calling a show for your young titans. So you are a titan yourself.
Thank you so much for inviting me, for having me here.
Of course. So before we even start our conversation, technology is moving at a pace where it's unbelievable. And playing catch up as just a regular person is one thing, and playing catch up as a technology innovation company must be something that is interesting, if I do say so myself.
True.
Please tell us a little bit more about how you managed to get into this space. And maybe the very first question is, Nyeredzi Global Technologies. Tell us what the organization is about, what you do, and why you chose to be in this space.
Okay, so thank you so much for the time and opportunity. My name is Yvonne Marambanyika Estate. So our business, Nyeredzi Global Technologies, is started in Dubai when I was based in Dubai. I've been there for quite some time. Mm-hmm. So there are lots of opportunities, lots of technologies that we saw. Here in Zimbabwe, there's more of theory. But if you go to developed countries, you see the technology in action. You see everything in action.
Absolutely.
It's not an issue of now theory. So when I started Nyeredzi Global Technologies, I realized that back home here, there's some gaps that we have. There are some technologies that are not yet here in Africa. Mm-hmm. I cannot say we're in Zimbabwe only, but
in Africa as a whole.
Yes, as a whole. So if you go outside, like in China, in UAE, Middle East, these guys, they are developed.
Right.
So when I sat down, I said to myself, why don't I take these technologies and bring them back home? Then I remember the first product that I tried to push then was smart displays for education, smart interactive boards.
Mm.
You know, when you're pushing the people be like, what is...
There's resistance.
They don't even know how to use it.
Absolutely.
Now as time goes on, they learn about it, but they didn't even know how to use it. Mm-hmm. They've never seen it.
Of course.
So whenever someone wants to buy something, they don't have like a specification of what they need. Yes.
100%.
So as Nyeredzi Global Technologies, we then said, okay, let us start our own company. Let us have our own solutions. So Nyeredzi Global Technology is a premium technology company that is based in Zimbabwe. Then we are also going regional, and we're also going in Africa and across the whole world.
Absolutely. So the theme for our episode today is tech, tenacity, and African digital frontier, which is one thing I really appreciated when you mentioned it's not just Zimbabwe, it's Africa as a whole. And what I'm also getting from what you're saying is what made you then open up to the world of technology was exposure.
Yes.
So do you think that as Zimbabwe, as Africa, there's a need for exposure for us to have an appreciation of the rate at which technology is moving?
That's absolutely true. Because if you are here in Zimbabwe, there's less to see than when you travel outside.
Absolutely.
I remember, I think it was in 2017 or mid 2016 when I was still based in Zimbabwe. I think they introduced the tap card for Supco, if I'm not mistaken, and it was resistant. But if you go outside, like in Dubai, you never use cash when you're traveling.
Yeah.
You just need to have your card. When you're going for metro, for trade, for bus, whatever, you have your app, then you tap and you go. So you need exposure for you to accept some of them, of the technologies that are there. If you don't have any exposure, there's nothing. So I think most of the people, they need to have exposure to know, to see how the technologies work.
Absolutely. And I like the fact that you mentioned the Zupco tap card, because to me, it was a brilliant idea. You don't have to worry about change. You don't have to worry about anything else. You just get your card loaded, tap, and then you just...
But people, because they do not have, maybe lack of, maybe they were not educated
enough.
Yes.
So do you...
sometimes when you launch your IT, you need to educate the user first.
I was about to say, so do you think there should have been, investment in education and advocacy and getting the word out there to say, hey, listen, we're introducing this. Let's do it this way. These are the advantages that you said. Note that these are the advantages. And then people probably accept
Definitely, because when it comes to IT is a different field altogether. Mm-hmm. Whatever comes, no one knows about it. Mm-hmm. When we sell our smart interactive boards or the video conference solution, we have our policy of having a POC, proof of concept.
Of course.
Because even those people who want to use it, they don't know how to use it or they never used it. So what we do normally is we go and we give you maybe for 2 weeks. You use our board for free for maybe a week because you're supposed to test. You're supposed
like a pilot, yeah.
Yes, it's a pilot, right? So any technology that is going to be implemented anyway, we need to invest
Right.
in educating people before we launch it.
And there's need for a buy-in from the people that you're offering this service to. So what can you say was the biggest barrier when you started your company? What was the biggest barrier that affected your breakthrough? We did mention that, sometimes people take time to have an appreciation of technology.
Yeah,
Do you think that was the biggest barrier?
No, not that one. I can't acceptance. Because we have already big companies already, but are the IT. So when you go to company A and say I'm selling product A, B, C, D, they say, what should I buy from you? One, I don't even know you. Especially they don't even see your appraisal. You have never heard about it. So why should you buy from you? Because they don't even, there's issue of trust.
Absolutely.
Trust is I think the biggest barrier that was there. So, but there are some companies, because when you want to sell, especially to big companies, they need a reputable trade reference.
Absolutely.
But if you can't work with me to become the first one, how do I have it? But I want to thank some of the big companies that work with us.
Yes.
Without even asking those things. I think issue of trust.
It's so not funny, but it's something that I'm noticing, because in our previous episode, we had Yevai Makoni. She's the CEO of Just Property, and she was talking about trust and reputation.
Yes.
And because a business that has a reputable reputation is easy for people to just work with. And then especially they're now getting into the landscape who are new. How do you build the trust if you are still?
Yeah, it is very difficult, but trust me, there are some organization that I think they just made everything easy for us.
Right.
I think they like if I'm to mention Valley Bees in Bats made chicken slice, because those were the first big client that we worked with.
Really?
They never asked for any reference. So we now use them as our reference for the next business.
Which is great. And I want to talk about talent, which is a major challenge in tech. On the continent, especially right now, developers, engineers, and specialists that are well versed in the tech industry. How have you built a team, especially knowing that we are still kind of lacking in the technology side? Even our universities, the courses or the modules that they're offering, they may not be up to the standards of the likes of Asia, UAE. So how do you recruit a team, especially when we have this kind of landscape in the country?
Okay, so I think when I was doing my recruitment there, was I think my first engineers, they came in beginning of 2024.
Right.
I had my criteria that I was using, because when I was in the Middle East, I was an e-commerce operations manager.
Right.
So I was in charge of recruitment, especially for the IT side.
Right.
So when I was now doing this side, I know we are a bit behind. So I wanted someone who is a bit ambitious. Sometimes you might not know the actual work, but at least you appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So after hiring them, then I had to train them, because most of the solution that we're offering or that we are offering right now, they're advanced cutting edge solutions.
Of course.
So I need to train them. I need to teach them. So we do trades to make sure that they catch up.
Absolutely.
Sometimes they do the learning by themselves. Sometimes I also train them. If there's any new technology that we're bringing in as Nyeredzi Global Technologies, I always train them.
So you're basically employing people that have the ability to adjust, the ability to wanting to learn, and they align with the vision of Nyeredzi. Well, speaking of vision, what is the vision of the organization?
Our vision is to be the priority premium technology company in Zimbabwe. The first one, when you want to buy anything, you need to know there's Nyeredzi Global Technologies.
Absolutely.
Yes. So that's our vision before we reach 2028.
Of course. I don't doubt that you will reach those milestones because of the tenacity that you're showing, but just speaking about the brand and what you guys do. So now there's expansion that needs to happen, right? Zimbabwe is not the only country in Africa. We have other countries that are in the region, sub-region. How did you manage to step out of Zimbabwe? How did you manage to get your services to other countries that are closer to the region and beyond?
I think moving from Zimbabwe to other countries was not difficult for us, because Nyeredzi was not started in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
It was started in Dubai.
Right.
Yeah. That's where Nyeredzi Global was born. This is where everything happened. Even the recruitment were done when I was also in Dubai. It was like online.
Okay.
So for me now to move back here, it was very easy. So going also to other countries like maybe Namibia, Tanzania is very, very easy.
Okay.
Because already Nyeredzi was not built here. I built it when I was in the Middle East.
And the thing is, the problems that we have as Zimbabwe, they're not just Zimbabwe problems, especially when it comes to technology. I think as a continent, we have certain similar loopholes. It could be Zimbabwe, South Africa. There are some countries that are a bit advanced. So the solutions that I'm assuming we'll bring it to Zimbabwe are the very same solutions that are needed in Namibia, Botswana, and other countries which you operate for. So was it? I don't want to say easy, but was it something that was, pitchable, if a word like that exists, to say, okay, we have this problem in Zimbabwe, it's there in Namibia, let's go and pitch. How did you do it?
The interesting thing is if you identify a gap here and you try to pitch, if there's really see that this one is a problem,
Right.
they have a listening ear. The same way if you go to Tanzania today and you point out a loophole that is there, they are always ready to listen. So when they listen, now you have the opportunity to pitch.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I want to talk about how you started funding this business. You were in the Middle East, and you're working there. I'm sure you're comfortable there, but then I've noticed that people who go and work outside the country, they always want to look back and see how they can bring back some of the solutions that they see abroad. Do you think there was a driving force to you coming back to the country to offer the services that you're offering?
I think being in the Middle East, I learned a lot of things.
Right.
So, after you have seen a lot of ideas, a lot of solutions, the next thing that you need to do is to improve where you're coming from.
100%.
We don't need to lag behind. Because when you are there outside, you are the ambassador. So they can't talk of AI, and then Zimbabwe don't have AI. We can't talk of cybersecurity. We can't talk of RPA solutions when you don't have them here in Zimbabwe. So whatever that you learn, no matter the field that you are, if you're outside, something that you learn, you always want to bring it back home.
Absolutely.
So that we are always at the same level with other countries.
And then funding the business, was it your own funding? Did you get a partner?
Okay.
Take me through.
What I could say is, I think when I worked in the Middle East, there's a time that I then resigned for me to start Nyeredzi Global Technologies. After resigning, I had my savings. But the savings came to an end.
Right.
Because Dubai is very expensive to survive. So when I started Nyeredzi, I always tell people I had one laptop. That was in the office. Then when I sent 4 more laptops, then I hired one person. Then when the person received the 4 laptops, he was very happy. That is my engineer, he's still there.
Really?
Yes. And also the office that we're using was not that one. That is,
you had to, of course.
Yes. So as time goes, there's another project that I did, which was not part of Nyeredzi per se. So from that project that I did, that's where I got the money to then fund Nyeredzi. Yes.
So the vision that you had when you started Nyeredzi a couple of years ago, is it still the same, especially with the way technology is advancing at a rapid speed? If you look at what technology was like a year ago, barely a year ago, and what it is now, does it change the vision? Does it change how you operate? Because there's also changes in the field of technology.
Our changes will be there to align with the needs.
Right.
Yes. Because technology always is evolving.
Right.
So for us, we are also trying to catch up. We want to come up with our own systems. Because for now, we do software development. But we want to have systems that can be used internationally.
Right.
Not systems only that address problems in Zimbabwe. So our vision is still the same, but it's also going to be guided by the changes that are happening.
And I want to talk about hardships, because every startup, every business has its challenges. Yes. And I can only imagine, especially in the tech and innovation industry, where you need to have the latest either gadgets, software, which costs a lot of money. What was the hardest thing about building a technology business, especially, knowing that you're coming from a different country into a different landscape, as opposed to any kind of business? You did mention that there was a project that you then did to fund the passion that you had for your company? What were the hardships?
I think there are many challenges because when you're outside, there's no power cuts to start with.
Yeah.
The internet is very cheap.
Right.
There's no fluctuations. Then when I came back here, it was difficult for me because I wanted now to understand the market again. Because after being away for quite some time, you need to come back then enter the system again.
Absolutely.
Because now my system is used to the Asian side. So when I came back here, I need to understand the market. Also, for me to give solutions, I need to understand all the things that are happening on the ground. So I had to come here. For me to do that, I think I became the salesperson of my own company.
Absolutely.
So when I went there, I understood from the client itself to say, okay, I want to sell this. I want to do this. There were many things. Also, the issue of currency. You thought that's when they introduced ZIG. I was not here. So when I came, someone wants to pay me in ZIG. I don't even understand how to use the ZIG.
Absolutely.
So I remember when I started, when people want to pay me in ZIG, I'll just jump for them to pay me in the current that I understand.
Of course.
But as time goes, now I'm in the system. I understand almost everything.
Of course. So you have,
I think
you have to move
issue,
and change and adapt
yes.
as well. And I'm listening to you as you're talking right now. And of course, there were solutions that you're trying to offer in the country. Was there a particular moment where the market wasn't ready for what you're offering? How did you navigate around it?
There are many solutions that we offer. Sometimes they seem like they are way ahead.
Yes.
And our infrastructure is a bit better.
And sometimes you want to offer a solution to a problem that hasn't started yet, but you want to get ahead of it by introducing something. So I can only imagine.
Yes. There are many solutions that we have. Some of them until now, there's still resistance. But I know when the time comes that now the problem is there.
Exactly.
They will need it. But we'll be also behind because other countries will be
ahead with it. Yeah. Yes. So how did you navigate that? How are you navigating that? Are you like, you can't force a service to somebody?
You know what? We just let's say I want to introduce a new technology today. I just set an appointment. Then I go and explain the technology that I'm offering, the advantages, disadvantages. Then maybe when they have a need, that they'll come back to us. Because it's not an issue of forcing them, because if they don't want to use it,
they won't.
You
can't do anything about it.
It's an issue of educating them. Well, we advance. Like I said, any technology that needs to be implemented today, we need to train people.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And what has been the most expensive lesson you've learned since you started your company that cost you? Say, hey, you did mention the change in currency, because obviously when you're trading out there, you're getting your gadgets, you're getting your technology in, it could be United States dollars, whatever it is. But was this a lesson that was very expensive?
I think
almost detrimental to you.
I think the lesson that I learned is if you have your business processes and procedures, you need to stick by them, no matter the business relationship that you have created with the client.
Right.
Because I remember one time there's one of our biggest client, one of our big clients. We used to sell products to them. Then they give us a purchase order. Then we deliver. Maybe they process the payment. But that time they were under pressure. I don't know what had happened. Then they said, please, can you come and deliver these goods? Processing the purchase order. We did, because we had our relation.
Right.
So after delivering the product, they said the specifications were not meeting their requirements.
As you've already procured.
No, we had the stock.
Oh.
But now the issue is they already removed everything in the package. And now we can't sell it. Now the issue came when they said they need to make the payment. They said we can't make the payment because yes. So I think we're always supposed to abide by the procedure and the processes of the company. There's no shortcut to anything. If you want to do anything, just follow the normal process.
So what could have happened is them, of course, inquiring and then you telling them that this is the product we have. They come and they see the specifications.
They say they were under pressure.
Oh.
But now the issue is maybe the person was supposed to generate a purchase order. Purchase orders with all the specifications.
Of course.
So they gave us they just phoned and say, please deliver this ABCD. So I think maybe it was a mistake of the person from procurement. I'm not sure. So we delivered, we explained to them, these are the specifications. They said it's okay. So after sending it to IT did not do due diligence. They just opened, checked and said, okay, after opening, they said, oh,
this is not what we want.
Project.
And I'm actually looking at it this way, because if it's the medical field, you cannot, inject someone a drug that is wrong. They'll probably die. It's almost similar to this, just that there's no person dying in this particular situation. So there's need to do double check, make sure that the thing that's been ordered is
I
the
think
best thing.
if we had followed
Right
our
thing.
common procedure of saying release anything upon purchase order, because purchase order
That
was
could have
all the
been.
instruction.
Yeah.
Now, after this had happened, the purchase order came, now with the correct specification, but the person who had phoned had the wrong specifications. But now you can't justify because it was on a call. Yes.
I get that.
So now we learned the hard way. We are no longer giving anything before we receive the purchase
We
order.
actually need
Yes.
to do our checks and balances. And I want to talk about the bigger picture and how Africa is being affected by technology. We've seen the introduction of AI, the introduction of innovations. The internet is a platform that everybody has access to. Where do you see the biggest technology opportunities on the continent at the moment, and which sectors are most underserved?
I think AI, the digital journey, which is anchored by Agenda 2063 for transforming Africa into a global powerhouse. We are going to look at a lot of things like AI adoption.
Absolutely.
There's fintech, we have climate tech, we have agri-tech. So we have a lot of sectors where we can do a lot of business in. If you talk of climate technology, we have the sustainable agriculture, we have renewable energy. So we have many things that we can do in the medicine, also health sector. We have telemedicine.
Absolutely.
We have medical supplies that are in demand. Because every person is sick these days. So we need to supply all those things. We have technology that you can use. The likes of drones. We have drones now that are being sent to deliver drugs, maybe remote areas, places where there's malaria. So someone can start business along that line. Yes.
Yeah.
Also, we have fintech. Because now we have mobile payments.
Right.
We have lending. We have fraud detection that is needed by most of the companies in the microfinances. So I think there is a bigger cane for everyone.
I think the cake is too big.
Yes.
Because every sector needs technology at the moment. It could be, like you're saying, fintech, agri-tech, anywhere technology is being used. And do you think Zimbabwe is becoming a genuine technology hub? Could it happen? Could it take some time? What do we need to do? Because I know Nyeredzi could actually bridge that gap.
I think it will only become a hub when we look at our infrastructure, like I said.
Right.
Because if you look at our infrastructure, there are a lot of challenges that we have. We have power cuts. We don't have power. But for any technology to run,
There's need for power.
There's need for power. There's need for internet. So if you want to be a technological hub, then you need to have all those things in place. We don't have skills also. Like I said, talent acquisition.
Right.
We don't have funding as maybe startups.
Right.
We don't have funding for that. We don't have anything. So we just need the government to come in. I'm aware that we have our national IT strategy that was launched.
Yes.
But if the strategy is launched but it's not enforced,
Implementation, yeah.
enforcement of the things that is to be done, there's nothing. We're not going anywhere. So we need to look at all those things for us to become viable.
Yeah, information dissemination as well. We could sit around a round table and have conversations, but what's going to happen after that is as important as anything. Now, let's talk about the people that want to be in the very same industry that you are in, a space where technology, they say the cake is big. They're trying to also start their own, Nyeredzi Global Technology, maybe a similar solution-based hub.
Okay.
What do you want to say to this person?
I think when they want to start, especially when it comes to the IT business is different from any other business. I think no one's mentioned that.
Yes.
Because for you to be in the IT, you need to be very skilled.
Absolutely.
Because everything in IT evolves rapidly. There's ever changing. You need to be very innovative. And you need to be well skilled. Because for you to top of cybersecurity, someone who's waking up and come and say, okay, we are doing cybersecurity. You need to understand
what do you know about cybersecurity.
You need to understand what is cybersecurity. You need to understand what is AI, what is cloud computing.
Yes.
You can't just come and say, I want to start my IT company.
So can you say you're always trying to look for the next piece of information to obviously know about what you're dealing with and what you're doing in your industry?
I think for me, the advantage for me when I did my bachelor's degree, I did an all-rounder of IT.
Right.
I did artificial intelligence, natural language processing. We did database, did networking, cloud computing. We did almost everything. So I have appreciation of everything. What I'm now doing is just to be up to date with what is happening. It's now different from someone who has got no background.
Of course.
When you talk of cybersecurity, we know what are the type of threats that we have now. Where are we going? Where is the AI going? It's now different from someone without what this background.
Of course. Yvonne, as we round up our conversation, tell me, what's one technology that will define the next decade in Africa?
Definitely artificial intelligence.
Right.
There's nothing that is going to overtake it, because everything that we're going to do now, it involves AI. When you go to the medical side, I think there are many solutions to do with the diagnostic of different diseases that are there, the likes of cancer. So AI will be there in front of.
Absolutely. And one piece of business advice that you received that has managed to make you stay afloat in your area of expertise?
I remember when I was working in the Middle East, my former boss in 2020 was I started also another camera for drop shipping when I was selling apparel.
Right.
But my market was in Europe. So after work, I'll go and do my work. Then when I come back in the morning, the first thing you ask me is, how was your business? Because he knew I was a business person. Then he said, you know what? If you want to succeed, you need to put more than 300% of your effort. Meaning, if you're working for me, you'll never succeed. For you to succeed,
you need to stop working for me. Focus on your business.
Focus on your business. So when I resigned from my work, when I started Nyeredzi Global Technologies, until now, he's still my mentor. He's always calling me. Of course, I'm still also working with him on other things that I'm doing.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know, that was very kind of her to be very honest and say, hey,
yes,
I think there was potential that was seen, and it was important to be honest with you. And the next chapter for Nyeredzi Global Technologies, especially knowing that the landscape is forever morphing, it's forever changing, it's forever, what's the next chapter? What are we looking at in the next couple of years? Let's say 3 to 5 years.
I think we are just here to bridge the gap. Zimbabwe is supposed to be middle income by 2030. Absolutely. Middle income by 2030. So we are also in that same vision of providing solutions that are cutting edge, that will meet the standards for Zimbabwe to become an upper middle income by 2030. So we have solutions like we have smart homes. We need to automate all the homes, not for us to go and unlock a door with a key.
No.
We have many solutions that you can use. So apart from the smart homes, we have lots of interesting other solutions that you can offer. So we have many things that are in store.
I don't doubt that Nyeredzi Global Technology will come in and solve some of these problems before they even start being problems. There is need for technology and education in the medical field and fintech. And I'm excited about the work that you're doing. And I'm hoping that you continue, just getting the right people in your corner, and also just making sure that the technology that you're introducing is technology that people actually understand, and there's need for education for that. Yvonne, thank you so much for your time, and I'm hoping that the next time we meet, you have changed from Android to iOS.
No, I will not share. I'm very loyal to Android. I'm very loyal to Samsung.
You know what? I appreciate that. This marks the end of our very second episode. We were joined here at the Young CEO podcast with a young CEO that is trying to break barriers in the world of technology. Yvonne, thank you so much again.
Thanks so much, Tatenda.
Awesome.